As we approach the end of this autumn term in what is unprecedented circumstances, first of all, we want to pass our huge thanks to so many of you for your cooperation and feedback and support over the past term. A school really is only a school once we have students in the building. Back in August, we wrote to you about some of the systems and changes that we were making to ensure that Heart of England School was as COVID safe as possible. And for the most part, compared to some other schools, we have been very fortunate with how the autumn term has moved. As we prepare to welcome Christmas, we are going to be making a few other changes to some of the systems in school. This is based upon our learning of how the school operates with so many different break times and lunch times and the changes that we made to the behaviour system. So this video is just to give you some insights into what those will look like and the effect that they will have in school. The first thing that you'll notice is when you access Insight to look at your child's merits or demerits, there will be some changes there. What we have recognised during the course of the past term is that there are lots of different grounds around which staff can enter information, and sometimes this doesn't really provide a huge amount of clarity or direction. So, as of January, you'll notice that we have slimmed down some of the grounds around which entries can be made and on Insight. The grounds for merits will remain the same, and the scale of 1 through 5 will continue to be in operation. We're also making a change to make it clearer about who in school is responsible for certain aspects of behaviour. The option that we have pursued is that there will be classroom demerits or concerns that will be logged on the system, and then there will be non-classroom concerns and logs on the system. Different members of staff will be responsible for monitoring these, for doing the follow-up, and for making contact with home if and when that proves necessary. Anything that is logged in terms of the classroom will fall down to the progress leaders. So in Year 7, that will be Mrs. Yates. In Years 8 and 9, that will be Mrs. Henton. And in Years 10 and 11, that will be Miss Owen. Anything that is logged as non-classroom will be dealt with and monitored by the pastoral team. So you should now be aware of who your child's pastoral manager is across the houses, and they will be overseen and monitored by Mr. Hawkes. Finally, we're going to be making some changes to some of our sanctions that we have in operation. That with so many different break times and lunch times, with so many different areas inbounds and out of bounds, we'll be making some amendments to some of the spaces that students can have access to, particularly as we move into the winter where we are far more likely to have wet and cold weather. This means that we're trying to provide some additional indoor space. Therefore, our expectations around student conduct in that indoor space and ensuring that there is minimal impact upon other lessons is going to be particularly important. Therefore, there will be a system implemented whereby if there are too many issues in terms of social time, we will be starting to issue social time detentions. Our aim is not to be punitive. Our aim is to respond to what we have learned, to appreciate the fact that we're moving into winter where students will want to be inside, and it works within the limitations of the space that we have in the building. This will all be clearly communicated to students in the first week back so they know exactly where is inbounds for their year group, where they should be eating, where they should be socialising, and obviously where they shouldn't be.
Something else that we are now able to reinstate that was part of the previous system pre-COVID are subject detentions. Up until now, we've been running centralised detentions when necessary for certain students. The majority of our students haven't needed to be sanctioned in this way, but just to let you know that we are now moving back to a model where they will serve a subject detention in the first instance if there have been several issues within a particular lesson. Also, we are now able to offer parking as an option. This is where a student can be removed from the lesson and will work elsewhere with a different class and teacher, still continuing with work for that subject, but not then still in their lesson where they might be causing ongoing disruption. Again, this applies to very few students, but we just wanted to let you know that these things are now available to teachers to use as sanctions. In order to maintain the year group bubbles, these sanctions will only be possible in year group detentions and year group parking rotas. That has all been set up ready for January so that it all works well and maintains the safety of all students. We are also going to reinstate 1 after-school detention. Previously, we used to have 2 a week. This time there will be 1 a week, which will happen on a Friday after school and will run until 4 p.m. This will be led by members of the senior leadership team and again will be in year group bubbles. As I've already said, this type of sanction will affect a very limited number of students, but if it was your child that was going to be placed into this detention, that would be for having several issues across the week that have led to that decision to put them in a senior detention. For example, if they've had several subject detentions or they've been parked from several lessons, this then might be an additional sanction that we issue. Of course, we will let you know in advance of this so that you are aware that your child will be required to stay after school on Friday and they can be picked up from 4 p.m. The majority of our students are making excellent choices and have been absolutely exemplary with all of the changes that they have had to manage, as well as the staff in school too. So we wish you all a really lovely festive period. We hope that you're able to see some members of family that you haven't been able to see for a while, and we look forward to welcoming the students back in 2021.